What's up, everybody, and welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com, or, of course, if you are watching on our fast-growing YouTube channel, that is Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and joining me, as he always does for a THI podcast, our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And probably wondering what the heck's going on with the backdrops. A little different than usual. We're actually both on the 5th floor of the Keenan Football Center right now, following Carolina's open football practice that happened on Saturday morning in Keenan Stadium, open to the fans and to the public. Had a good turnout, a couple thousand people here, I think, overall. So good turnout of fans. And for all the people who did come up and introduce themselves and say hello, much appreciated. Yeah, we did have a lot of people doing that, and that was pretty cool to see, to say the least. So that was awesome. But yeah, we're here on the 5th floor of the Keenan Football Center to recap what we saw today during Carolina's open practice. A lot of storylines, a lot of interesting things to talk about. And yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of diving into it with AJ. So I did a lot of video. We had Brandon there on the sidelines doing some video. Dina was out here as well. And then obviously AJ running around with his notepad, taking some notes. So let's go ahead and dive into it like we always do, AJ. And I'll start off with this. Biggest things, maybe, what stood out today to you the most before we, get into more specifics about things? Anything that, just really caught your eye today looking at this Carolina football team?
Yeah, it's actually 2 days. Yesterday was at the Coleman Practice Complex. Brandon and I were over there for the whole practice. That was open just to the media. Today was everybody. They allowed media on the field for photos, video, and really, if you were media, you could be on the field. And I did some video stuff. I did some photos, mostly taking notes and passing you guys every once in a while and talking. Saw a few recruits out here, took some photos of them as well. But the first thing that comes to mind is just that the volume of guys that they had, the volume of dudes. We talked a lot about dudes last year, but there's a lot of high-end talent here, and you could see it. More people pop when you're watching, either from elevated, like from the stands a little bit, or if you're down on the field. This is a quicker team. It's a faster team. It's a more athletic and agile team. Every position group has at least one guy who was a 4-star in high school. When I say every position group, I'm talking corner, nickel/star, jack/hybrid, whatever you want to call it, inside linebacker, D-line, interior D-line, D-end, safety, everything on offense as well. They're those kind of guys all over this roster, and it shows. If you were to superimpose me back into 2019 at one of these practices, which I covered quite a few, yeah, they had a lot of impressive guys back then, but it's all impressive guys now. So the third teamers are impressive guys who could play at a lot of places at some point in their careers, major places, and they have them here. So Max, unbelievable success on the recruiting trail, building the roster, stacking the roster with guys, showed yesterday. And what they'll eventually be, we don't know. But it's better to be in the second day of fall camp marching toward a season when you have a crap load of these guys than when you have a handful. So in that respect, very positive first few days for North Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. I thought, there was a lot of dudes out there. We talk about it all the time, about Carolina, all airport team. We've called them a few times because they look really good on the field and maybe haven't been able to turn it into wins. But I think this team is even better and even more impressive to the eye. And I think they're even more impressive on the field too. Because one of the big things that stood out to me, AJ, was leadership. I saw it today. I saw guys, we had some guys getting mad at each other on the field too. I like that. I think that's what Carolina in some ways has been missing over, the years. It's just guys that are extra competitive and want to win every rep. But there was one instance where Noah Taylor transferred from Virginia. He was coaching up all the defensive line guys, taking them to the side a little bit and talking to them a few minutes. And that's huge, especially when you got a guy like that who's new to the program, but he's played so much football in his career. He's not scared to do that as a guy that's new, a new guy, a new face, for lack of a better word, in the Keenan Football Center. I thought that was very impressive. I thought that was one thing that stood out and Mac hit on it, correct me if I'm wrong, after your open practice on Friday, when you got to talk to him about leadership has to be better. And he's seeing guys now that maybe in the past would take it personally when one of their players, one of their teammates tried to coach him up. They wouldn't really take it seriously. And that seems to have flipped. And I believe that I saw it today with my own two eyes, which I think is a big positive for this team.
I agree. And there are a few things at play here. Number one, when you mentioned Taylor, I'll add Corey Gaynor on the offensive side of the ball. These are two guys that could have stayed where they were. Taylor could have stayed at Virginia and still had a great chance to get into the NFL. Gaynor could have stayed at Miami and continued to pursue his dream of getting to the NFL as well. But they both left. They didn't leave to go, hey, Chapel Hill sounds nice. Let's go hang out there for 8 months. They came to North Carolina because they want to get better. They want to experience a different program, to be exposed to something different, to sort of expand their football horizons. And they came to North Carolina to become NFL players. And part of that process is winning. So absolutely, they brought an edge because they have a personal edge, and they're leaving nothing out there, man. They are letting it all loose and letting it all out. And they are, I think, very welcome sounds in those rooms, very welcome voices. Their energy was apparent. Watching Noah Taylor during drills, I spent some time around the Jacks today, watching some drills, and I heard him as much as I heard Gene Chizik. And I think that that's important. Now, some people may not fully get the importance of having a voice, but you need a voice. And he's done there, been that voice. He's like, guys, I didn't have to come here, but I'm here. We're going to get this crap right. I think the other part of it, especially on the defensive side, is these guys believe in what they're doing to a man. They believe in Gene Chizik. They lost faith in Jay Bateman. I know that might not be very popular to say with some people, but when you go back and look at that performance in the bowl game, and I guarantee you that people around this building probably sensed it and saw it as well, which is probably why a change was made, but they didn't believe in what they were doing anymore. Jay Bateman had lost the group. They weren't confident in what they were doing, and they played like it. Right now, they're fully confident, not just in Gene Chizik and all of his successes, but in the simplification of everything. And it's not just, they're not talking as much. It's not just that each guy has narrowed down roles or anything like that. It's across the board. They fully understand. You and I talked about this so much last year during the season, Jacob. Football 101, win your battle. You know, if you got 11 guys on defense, you know, it's 11 on 10 in the sense that the quarterback doesn't block. So if you win each of your battles, you're in good shape. And that's the mentality that's here. Smack a guy in the rear on the defensive line. If you know a Taylor, win your freaking battle. You win that battle, I don't have to cover for you. The guy next to you doesn't have to cover for you, and we have a better chance to get stops, get out the field, and let this prolific offense on the field score points to win games. It's pretty simple, but a lot of times the simpler things are very difficult to master. It's like that in real life, and it's like that in athletics. And right now with this football program, they are simplifying so many things, even offensively. You know, I'm sensing we're not going to see as many RPOs, more packaged stuff, more called stuff. It simplifies. It's less confusing. And I think that might be the right way to go. So I'm with you. The spirit, the energy, the leadership, the voices, and the right things being said, the coaches' voices. I'm hearing assistants that have been here a little bit more now than I heard them the last couple of years. So I think all that stuff's on the uptick. Will it result in more success on the field? I don't know, but I think there's a better chance it does than it doesn't.
Agreed. No, I definitely agree. I think some of those intangibles that we saw today they're small things, but they make up a bigger picture on the team, and they're so important to us. What a successful team, and that's obviously what Carolina's trying to do, is build a successful program here. And you've got to have leadership, you got to have competitive, you got to have drive, and you got to have guys understanding what they're supposed to do. Not only understanding it, but buying into it. And I think Carolina, from what we saw today and from what you saw on Friday, has done that so far. So that's a big positive. AJ, real quickly before we keep this thing going, I want to give a shout out to those who don't know. We've got an awesome promo going on at TarHeelIllustrated.com. Right now, you can get free access as a premium subscriber to our website through the end of August using the promo code KICKOFF 2022. I mean, August is going to be a crazy month. Football starts. We're going to have a ton of content. Is football practice continues to roll on, and obviously with the start of football here, in a few weeks as well. So awesome opportunity to sign up for free. Come see what our community is about. Come be a Carolina Insider too for free for one whole month at the start of football season, guys. Again, that promo code is KICKOFF 2022. Again, it runs out at the end of August, so make sure you take advantage of that before time runs out. And it is an awesome
plus recruiting stuff. Yep. Plus recruiting stuff, and we still have the basketball look ahead series. Most of that's premium. So we got a lot of stuff, not just the football camp, but lots of scoops, lots of intel, lots of perspective coming up over here between now and it actually takes you through the opener. So I hear from a lot of people, they complain, why we put premium stuff out there. Well, this is a business. We have to run the business. In order for us to be here, it costs money. Come in, you get it for free, you get to sample it and see what you like. And if you like it, sign up and be a permanent member of our amazing community.
Yeah, we hope you do that too. I think once you see the content you get on a daily basis, you'll want to hop on that train. So guys, again, kickoff 2022, take advantage of that before the end of August. Link to our website is in the description below. AJ, let's keep this thing moving forward a little bit. We're not going to go super duper long on this one. I think one thing that we need to hit on is the talk of the town right now for Carolina football fans is the quarterback battle. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about that right now. Drake May, Jacoby Criswell. I got a ton of video of them today that we're going to be rolling out over the next week or so. I'm sure I'll let AJ handle that scheduling stuff, but you'll get to see that over on our YouTube channel soon. So stay tuned. But AJ, I thought today we saw Drake May and Jacoby Criswell compete, and I thought they both looked really good. I mean, with some of the mock 7-on-7 stuff that they did, I thought they both completed a lot of passes. I can't think of one just bad pass that either of them had. I thought they both looked really, really good. So I followed them along in the individual drills as well. And I thought it was an even competition. I think you can pick out certain things where you can say, okay, maybe Drake does that a little bit better. Oh, Jacoby did that a little bit better on that rep. But I think overall it's been a pretty even battle so far. So I know you got to follow it pretty hard today too. What were your kind of takeaways from that quarterback battle?
Well, 2 days in, I've watched them a lot. I think that there's maybe a little higher ceiling with Drake. He can make all the throws. I came up to you during that 7-on-7 today.
You did.
And we just watched him, and he made like 4 straight snaps. They were completely different throws. Like he makes every throw. And he looks so much more confident and poised and fluid than he did a year ago, than he did even in the spring. I'm in 2 days in, and this is only 2 days in, and I'm not viewing this through the lens of Phil Longo or Mac Brown. I don't have the experience to do that. But 2 days in, it looks to me like he showed up ready to take this job, ready to put a flag in the sand, in the soil, say, that's mine. And to do so, he has to beat out a very good quarterback in Jacoby Criswell. He had one throw I thought that was off today. It was a little too far to the sideline. I think Justin Olsen was the intended receiver. Otherwise, Jacoby made all the throws because Jacoby's going to make all the throws. Both of these guys can be very good starting quarterbacks on really good teams at the Power 5 level. In the way college football is now, and Mac has not shied away from this at all the last few years, and understanding that quarterbacks leave. Quarterbacks hit the portal all the time. So what they want, the backup, whoever is named the backup, to understand that you're one play away from playing. So obviously, that's sort of the pitch. Okay, if one guy is named the starter here in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, as they start zeroing in toward Florida A&M, the other guy, you're still just as important. We need you because someone may get popped. If it's Drake, maybe he goes out, gets injured. Then it's Jacoby's the guy. And then Connor Harrell's the backup, who, by the way, looks really, really good. Connor Harrell can make the throws too. He just doesn't look as advanced and poised as the other two just yet, because this is Jacoby's 3rd fall camp. This is Drake's 2nd fall camp. One's been here 2.5 years, the other one's been here 1.5 years. So, and they're both ready to play. I think if North Carolina, honestly, you could, cover your eyes and just spin and point to one of the two of them. I think they're in good shape. But I do think that Drake has a little bit more upside. I think it's one of those long-term decisions that he may go through some little bit of struggles early against A&M and App and Georgia State, but that will get him much further advanced by late October. And I do think that if they both continue to approach their ceilings, I do think Drake has a higher ceiling. They might be better off with him long term. But again, I'm not Phil Longo or Mac Brown. I don't understand the position like they do. So they'll make that decision. They'll make the best decision. And I don't think it's a bad decision which way they go. But I love watching them compete. I think both guys are fantastic. I've enjoyed our dealings with them as well. I think Carolina fans, the more they get to know both of them, either one will like them a lot as well. They'll embrace these guys. And I don't think life after Sam is going to be a problem here. It's a good problem to have when you have those options and when you have Connor Harrell as the third guy coming in. So they're creating a pretty neat little thing at quarterback here. And whoever the next guy is, they're going to rack up a lot of yards. They're going to win some games. They're going to get a lot of attention, and it's going to help them recruit that position down the road.
Yeah, we've said it during the offseason a lot, especially during spring, that I think Carolina, regardless of who ends up being the quarterback and even looking to the future with Harrell, is in good hands, with what they have right now, regardless. But I do agree. I do agree that I think Drake has a little bit more upside. I like what I've seen from Jacoby Criswell as well, but just watching Drake, I think his height and his size is a plus too. He's able to see over the line of scrimmage a little bit better than, a guy like Sam Howell was able to. I know he's a great quarterback here, but that was one of the things that he struggled with at times just because he's not as tall. But I think Drake looks bigger. He looks the part. And today I was really impressed with, really impressed with what I saw from him and all the quarterbacks, like you said. I mean, I think, like I said,
Drake was fantastic.
Yeah.
Drake was fantastic today. I mean, some of the throws he made. And he had some pretty good catches too. They have a better collection of options to throw to than they did a year ago. Even though a lot of the guys are young, they're still dudes. They're still run routes, get open, catch the ball, turn nose upfield, and sprint guys. So they didn't have as much of that a year ago. Josh is going to have a lot more help. So I do think that the options will be there. They're strong at receiver, at tight end. They got 3 tight ends that can run around and catch a ball. So they should have a really, really good spread out passing attack. Josh Downs is probably not going to have the same numbers he had last year because they may not need him to have this. And he told us in Charlotte last week that, look, if I have to be a decoy to make this thing work, I'll be a decoy. So going back to what you said originally about the attitude and the leadership and the spirit, that's a sign of leadership right there. Here's a guy who set school records for receptions and receiving yards. He's like, yeah, whatever. We need to win. So if I have to be a decoy and run 30 routes a game that the ball doesn't come my way, but it goes to a bunch of other guys and we move the ball, he's fine with that. He wants his numbers, obviously, but he's okay with being a part of something big instead of the guy, which is what he was for much of last season.
Agreed. One of my favorite quotes from Roy Williams, and I'm referring to basketball right now, but I think it was from his 2005 documentaries. He said, it's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit. And I think that's something that his teams have embraced when they've been as good as they have. And I think that's something that this Carolina team of Mac and his staff is trying to get them to embrace as well. So we'll see if they can continue to build on that. But I think positive signs today for sure. AJ, we're going to wrap this one up here in a second. I want to end with this. I want you to give me a couple guys that maybe stood out today in practice. I'm going to give you 2 real quick. I know you probably agree with these 2 as well. I'm going to go with the freshman route. Andre Green, Zach Rice. I thought they looked really good. I didn't think they looked out of place today. I think Andre Green, you mentioned earlier today during Friday's practice, you were really impressed with what you saw from him. I was impressed with what I saw with him as well. He had an awesome catch. It was like a 30 or 40 yard catch that he just went above somebody and just grabbed it. And you're like, okay, that guy's a freshman, but he doesn't play like it. Zach Rice as well. I thought some of the drills I saw him in, some of the 77s, slotting in with some of those more experienced guys, doesn't physically look out of place. And to me, what he was able to do out there didn't look out of place as well. So give me a couple guys that maybe stood out to you today from what you saw.
After this, let's hit on defensive line too. So remind me in case I happen to forget, but let's hit on those 3 freshmen. I'm going to throw Travis in there. And that'll be somewhat the segue into the defensive line. They have 3 freshmen, true freshmen right now, who are among the top 44 of the Rivals 250 of the class of 22. And they look it. When you come out here, if I were to bring a buddy who doesn't pay attention to North Carolina football, but knows football, bring them onto the field at practice and say, okay, I want you to find the 3 guys that 2 were 5 stars, and one was almost a 5-star. One's a receiver, one's offensive line, one's defensive line. Tell me who they are. I think they would get 2 out of the 3 or all 3 because they just pop. And Andre Green, the kind of guys that Clemson have when they won national titles, the Justin Ross types, the dudes that can fly down there, they can go up, they can play, they could be the corner target in the end zone, they can get stuff over the middle and dart, they can get that fly pattern, get on a one-on-one with a corner, just outreach stuff, but they also have that glide and that speed. and almost seemingly look effortless. Andre Green's got that. They haven't had a dude like that around here in a long time, if ever. And I know that's a huge load to say, but I think he's going to play a lot. He's extremely talented. When you ask teammates about him, you see their brain and trying to find the right adjectives, because the common great adjectives don't really apply, because he's got an unbelievably high end to him. And I'm saying this just after 2 days. Now, we haven't been in pads yet, but you can see if a dude's got that kind of stuff. Zach Rice, absolutely. He's working out the ones at right guard and at right tackle. I mean, he's working with the ones.
Yeah.
He's going to play. He's going to play a lot. And he got blown up yesterday, or blown by Noah Taylor on a play, but and his body language immediately was like, oh crap, that shouldn't happen to me. He's a true freshman. The first practice of fall camp, a guy who's been in college, and what has Noah played, like 45 games for Virginia?
Yeah, a lot.
3,000 snaps, and he blows right by him, and Zach is upset that he didn't make the play, that it happened, and he learned from it. I guarantee you, when they looked at film last night, they talked about that. So it was a great moment for him. But the fact that he reacted the way he did, the head didn't go down. It was like, crap, I shouldn't get beat like that. That's the degree of confidence that he brings to the field. And people will see that when he gets into games this year. He will play. And the other one being Travis Shaw. I think the good thing about Travis is they're not going to ask him to step on the field and play 50 snaps a game right away, because they're so deep at that position. But he can help them at 15 or 20. Like if his role is 15 snaps, fans shouldn't be worried, because he's got the goods. It's a little more difficult maybe in his transition, especially when he's doing drills with guys that are really, really talented and have been here a couple of years. It's not like the room was a few years ago when Mac got here. Gene Chizik, I asked him in June, what is the biggest difference between the defense now that you're inheriting and the one that you inherited after the 2014 season? And he immediately went to the defensive line, like so much talent and so many guys. So Travis is going into that situation where he doesn't have to do a ton. So he's going to be allowed to develop and grow at his own pace, and he'll do some of that on the field. But for fans, don't worry if he's not getting 30 snaps a game by mid-October, because they may not need him to. They've got a lot of answers. They got a lot of guys. And if he's the fortification, if he's in the second or even the third group, that tells you how good this group can be. It tells you how deep and talented they are. And it's also a great thing for him, because it allows him to grow, allows his body to get used to going up against college offensive linemen. So I think all three of those guys are going to play. I think Andre Green has a chance to be really, really good right out of the gate. I think Zach's going to play a lot and play both guard and tackle, and he'll get on the field. And Travis will too. So Carolina fans should be very excited about and there are other true freshmen as well. We don't have time to go into all of them right now. We'll do that more as we get into fall camp. But those are the guys that really popped to me today. And fans need to be very excited that the recruiting that they've done here, they're not just highly rated guys. These are big time dudes, and they're here now. And they playing early and playing well will help further recruiting.
Agreed. I know you wanted to hit on the O-line real quick too, so I'll let you.
D-line, yeah.
Oh, D-line, yeah. Go if you want to take away. And go
I just kind of did. They're deep. Like Miles Murphy, you asked who impressed me. He impressed me as much as anybody today.
Oh yeah,
he was flawless in his drills. I think I videotaped a couple of them, but he was flawless in his drills, and he's quick. They were doing a drill about getting around a lineman, looping and going back to the quarterback, and stripping the ball from the quarterback. I mean, it looked like he created the drill. It's like, oh yeah, hey guys, look at this drill I just created. It was ownership of that. That's how smooth and efficient he was. And he's barking and talking out there. He's really good. I mean, some mock drafts have him as a potential first rounder. I can tell you that a lot of people around here believes that he can be first round guy. They also think Jahvaree Ritzie could end up being that guy. I think Javare's going to take a big leap. And the fact that we got Jahvaree after practice today, along with Ed Montilus, who's in his fifth year, and along with Antoine Green, who's in his fifth year, and we got them as well. And then also there's Jahvaree in his second year. That's an indication of what they expect from him. I love the defensive front. They're really, really talented. I asked Mac yesterday after practice, when you look at that group now, as opposed to looking at that group when you got here 3 years ago, what do you see that's different? And he went into the abundance and he said, we could play 9 guys.
It's true. I mean, I took a video of the D-line,
they're
which
all
you'll
really
see.
good.
Yeah, you'll see in a few days or whenever we put it out. I got a few clips of them up close and personal. Go watch that because I think that really illustrates just how many dudes they have at that position. It was not like that 3 years ago. It just wasn't. I mean, we've been out here. It was not like it is now. Now, will it translate to wins? We'll have to see. But they definitely have guys down there that look good enough and have proven, or at least shown so far in what we've seen, that they're talented, they're willing to learn, they're working hard. And I think that D-line is going to be in good shape if they can continue to develop. So
let me throw a few more names. Silver, he's in better shape. Rucker is a guy that's already played beyond his recruiting ranking, and you love having guys there. He's incredibly smart,
big time leader today,
hard worker.
from what I saw.
He's a leader, and he's a guy that's he's a football player. Whether he's upright a little bit or hand on the ground, he's a football player. Des Evans, he said he's home, right? Got a hand on the ground. Hey, Des, go get the quarterback. See that ball, go get it. That's what he's doing. He's not held back by doing things that weren't really in his wheelhouse. KBJ, remember how highly recruited he was? Well, he's dealt with the injury. He's dealt with some weight issues, but he's at the weight they want him to be now. And watching him do drills today, he looked good, and he had a great spirit about it too. They should never be tired. And by the way, Vahasek hasn't participated the first 2 days. He's on a bike over there. He's just kind of making sure he's getting 100%. And he doesn't need to work as much as the other guys. So it's all good. And they've got a lot of numbers over there, man. There is no reason for this defensive line not to be really good this year.
Agreed.
No reason.
They're big. I think they're going to be really good. I think Carolina fans are going to love what they see at that position group in particular. There's a lot of others we could talk about too, but that D-line really stood out today because I was up close and personal with them a few times and really like what I got to see. So AJ, I think it's a good place to go ahead and wrap this one up, man, of our little recap on Carolina's open football practice. Again, everybody that came up to us and said hello and all that jazz, much appreciated. That was really cool to see. And we always love interacting with our subscribers and the people that follow along with us. It's crazy people even know who we are. I still have to pinch myself when that happens. I'm like, you know who I am. But that's not why we do it. We appreciate that we connect with people. And we appreciate that people think enough of what we do to watch these and to read our work. And you can actually sign up for free through the end of August right now. So you can really become an insider, because so much of what we do, if you're not a premium subscriber, you never see it, you never hear it. So especially those Zooms that we do for subscribers, and we're doing one in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm telling you guys, come do that. Kickoff 2022 is the promo code. Again, we'll have a link to the description in the below. You can go ahead on over there and sign up if you want to. Free through the end of August. Take advantage of it. Come see a little bit more of what we do behind the scenes, especially on those premium boards. I think you'll like what you see when you come over here. So come be a Carolina Insider too. Again, link is in the description below. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones for yet another episode of the Tar Heel Illustrated podcast. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.